Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Lots of questions following the Felipe Cardenas article on the front office and Carlos Bocanegra. We also review and preview the matches from the week. All that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ and this is Marc. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube.
This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern.
So Atlanta United played Inter Miami to a 1-1 draw on Sunday afternoon. And lo and behold, Josef Martinez gets his first start in MLS and scores in the 9th minute. And what a beautiful sight it was. He finally gets on the score sheet in the 2021 season after about 440 days. And yeah, wow. You know, it's a long time coming, and he runs straight to head trainer Mario, and it is definitely a beautiful sight. It's just, wow. Pulls at the heartstrings because, yeah, you know, the trainers have been with him every step of the way, and yeah, super lovely that he acknowledges them. He said that they deserve it. Yeah, they get the photos, essentially, the photo op with Josef Martinez as well. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful sight. And yeah, to talk about the goal, I mean, you know, the commentators were essentially talking about him, and pretty much right on cue, he pretty much creates a goal out of nothing. I mean, he gets found in the box, and you know, it's near the edge of the box-ish, but on his left foot. Ryan Shawcross doesn't know what he's dealing with in Josef Martinez, and he puts it away aplomb with his left foot. And yeah, there ain't no stopping Josef Martinez with you know, either foot when he is on song. And you know, this strike, he yeah, ruthless, and that's what we need. That's that ability in front of goal that we've been missing all season. I feel like is to yeah. If you find a striker in the box, they're going to put it away, and that's at least what was happening early. But yeah, later on in the match, you know, you have some missed chances by our forwards. One notably by Jake Mulroney, that he doesn't look good in this one. That is a very poor strike. You wanna kind of talk through that, you know, that chance there where basically, yeah, I mean, Jake Mulroney, he scuffs it. I mean, he you know, he probably should make a better connection, especially when he's that close and has that good of a look.
Yeah, completely agree. I'm sad I can't talk about Josef's goal, but no, I'm kidding.
Talk about Josef's goal too.
So I'll talk about Jake Mulroney. He's running onto it from the wing, right? And it comes onto his strong foot. And I feel like as a forward, that's the kind of chance you want, especially when you're like right in the frame of goal. I mean, it was around the penalty area, right? So maybe about 10 yards. You know, it's just one of those things where, as a fan, you're out of your seat before the ball even gets to him because you're assuming that he's going to finish it. But he didn't. And as you said, you know, he scuffs it really badly. I mean, like, I think the only way that shot could have been worse is if he, like, skied it. But it ends up being a tame save with the goalkeeper, and it absolutely should not have been. So, and that would have made it 2-0, you know. And, of course, Atlanta would go on to rue that. But Josef's goal was beautiful. You know, it's just decisive, 2 touches. You know, he turns, he knows what he wants to do. You give him a little bit of room in the box and he's going to shoot, and that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what we've been missing. So yeah, 2 I guess contrasting moments from 2 of our forwards.
Yeah, and I had a feeling, yeah, we were going to rue that chance for sure because yeah, 2-0 Inter Miami, I don't know, they didn't seem all that apt and able in that first half. Right. It's another one of those tale of 2 halves type deal, right? Because that second half, even Gabriel Heinze kind of mentioned it as well. We looked lethargic. We looked like we had heavy legs with the midweek match, and then you just have kind of issues with depth as well, and not really rotating. It's kind of the feature of some of our Argentine managers for sure, is to not do that. And also LGP knew exactly what he was dealing with Josef Martinez, and even put him on the ground sometimes. And it was, you saw the whole package of LGP, I think, in this match. You have the beautifully spread balls across the pitch. You have really good defending. You have the shit housing. You have imposing himself onto the forwards of the opposing team, and the obligatory yellow card.
Of course.
And also, not only obligatory yellow card, but should he stand on the pitch? I mean, I guess he should have, but still, there's some borderline calls that you see why now that maybe LGP is one of those guys that the opposing fans really dislike.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, actually. It's like, oh, we're on this side of it now. No, I see. Yes, sure.
Yeah, like this, this is not that fun, actually, to experience. And, he'd be really great on our team, but, man, is he annoying. Yeah. But, so, we get to the in the second half, it's, we're dealing with it pretty decently, but then they bring on Federico Higuain, and two Higuains is definitely better than one Higuain, and they showed that Higuain was fashioning a lot of chances, putting some through balls, putting some just perfectly weighted balls. He's not the fastest guy, but he will, perfectly weight a ball exactly where it's needed, and So, Lewis Morgan, again, this dude, he seems to score against us a lot, and it's another thorn in our side. But 77th minute, he gets a loose ball essentially from Alex DeJohn from a free kick when he comes in.
A terrible free kick, by the way. I mean, it was the free kick was on the right sideline, and DeJohn just plays this aimless ball to the middle. Giveaways in the middle of the pitch are death. I mean, it just you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's it's one of those things. When you have Alex DeJohn and Kubo Torres come on, you're gonna lose something. You're gonna lose something there, and it's oh boy, so Lewis Morgan, he kind of just strolls right through a little bit, and it's a bit annoying. Beats Braguzan at the near post. There's another feature that we've been pretty susceptible in kind of early days of this season, is skipping balls from crosses across our box. We haven't dealt with them very well. We haven't dealt with guys who are very direct, and that's something. Yeah, a lot of individual errors, a lot of just moments where heart and mouth goes. You're thinking, how do you miss that clearance? How do you?
Right.
It's something that we need to clean up fast. But and it's, I think, something that we didn't mention yet was that it's pretty much an unchanged 11, and with that lack of rotation, and then finally, when you do take off Josef Martinez, and then Kubo Torres comes on, it's you're missing Lisandro Lopez, and we'll get to him later. There's a massive drop off in some of the guys that come on, and it's very difficult. And you see Inter Miami, who they bring on, and it's very different. They have guys that make a difference, and right now we're just we're reeling in the health department and the availability department. That I think that definitely came into play in this match.
Yeah, also, Hansa mentioned the heat. That obviously didn't help. We had a hydration break in the first and second half. I think the humidity made it feel like 90. Tough conditions for sure, especially for an unrotated side. Yeah, the Luz Morgan goal, I mean, it's very direct. Sosa and Bello look like they have it covered, but then the overlap, I think it just about does him in. And then Sosa in that moment definitely looked a little bit heavy. And he's played every minute, so you can't really blame him. But yeah, it's just you felt like the goal was coming, and honestly, with I guess we'll say 1.5 penalty shouts that Inter Miami had, it very easily could have been 2-1. Higuain had that chance in the first half from, as you mentioned, that ball that skips across the penalty area. So, on the one hand, disappointed that we didn't go up 2-0 and didn't get all 3 points. But on the other hand, kind of lucky that we got the points. So it's definitely mixed feelings coming from this match.
Yeah, I mean, kind of lucky. Ooh, yeah, we were absolutely lucky. I mean, that second half, and especially the latter half, squeaky bum time, absolutely.
Yes.
And it was, not even a question of, we were holding on for dear life. And, their penalty shouts. Do you think, Brad Guzan didn't think so in terms of, his penalty shout there when he seemingly did or did not take out his man. Do you think, he got the ball and then, the player ran into him, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, it felt like the best from what I saw from it. It looked like he got the ball and then, I guess, continued into the player. So I guess it's just like a sort of bang bang play, maybe one where there's not enough of VAR to overturn. But I am borderline shocked that Miles was not called for a penalty on the handball. I mean, I know it's a hard shot. I know the distance isn't very far, but his arms are flailing. It's this far away from his body. I think we were a little bit lucky on that call. LGP had a penalty shout, but that wasn't a real one. That's just LGP being LGP. But
yeah, and
yeah. Yeah,
and that's what we've just said. It's what you expect from him. So
right.
I was, to be honest, I wasn't even mad, but basically, Brad Guzan had to make a season high 6 saves here. I think probably it doesn't say, but a lot of them probably were in the second half, and so it's we escaped with I think a point here. 2 points dropped, maybe not so much, because there were chances for them for both halves that really could have been, I think making this a lot worse. XG also favored Miami as well. So, we'll take the point on the road, and, a Josef Martinez goal, I think, will lift some spirits as well. But, any final thoughts on this match?
It's great to see Joseph score, and with now that the schedule a little bit back to normal with having the full week off, hopefully this is the beginning of seeing the old Joseph a little bit. Obviously, it's still a process, but that was the best. That's obviously the highlight of this match.
Indeed. Up next we will face CF Montreal, which we will preview later on. But let's get into the news, and yes. There's a big old bombshell that dropped on Tuesday. It was a Felipe Cardenas bomb, and it was one of those that's very seemed like a very just innocent Tuesday morning, and 8 a.m. Bright and early. Wagoosh! It's a whole ass article about a ton of stuff from the past, and you best bet your ass we're gonna get through all of that because it's so much in it, and kind of starting from somewhere. Well, let's see. He had pretty much 10 unnamed sources and Darren Eales speaking about kind of the front office and what had happened in the past, kind of the power struggles between the technical director Carlos Bocanegra and any of our head coaches as well. And I think Darren Eales did mention something that, yes, does need to be, I think, reiterated from the off, is that the the relationship between a technical director and a head coach is always going to be a little bit kind of fraught with tension a little bit. Maybe not fraught, but definitely will have some tension, and that's usually a good thing because a technical director is looking at the longer term of the club, and a head coach is looking at the short term, trying to win every single match, fight for every minute. And that's important as the context. But there are some real interesting, to say the least, things that were at least maybe kind of confirmed. Because a lot of people, there's been whispers, there's been rumors of this, but to confirm it in an article is a whole nother thing. And so massive kudos to Cardenas for that. But one of the first things is one of the unnamed sources saying, I'm 100% sure Carlos Bocanegra and Tata Martino's relationship is why Tata left. That is, yes, that's, the outside part of the story. It's not Carlos Bocanegra nor Tata Martino saying this, of course. And so, we are missing those voices, within this article for sure.
Right.
But, I mean, that's, of course, Tata Martino. In this article, it was saying that he could have possibly stayed if, some of the, power struggle things that were done didn't happen. But, essentially, Tata Martino and Carlos Bocanegra weren't on speaking terms pretty much in the, believe the latter half of 2018. And, there were some aspects of him wanting Tata to sit Miguel Almiron after AC Milan put in an offer for him. So, kind of trying to protect the player after that injury that he suffered right before the playoffs, essentially. Right. And, obviously, Miguel Almiron played a large part in us making a run at the playoffs and winning MLS Cup. And so, I think Tata Martino was obviously right to play Miguel Almiron, and then he was able to be sold by Newcastle, or to Newcastle. And so, there are some things that in hindsight, looks all well and fine. Do you agree with maybe Bocanegra saying that, he maybe should have sat Miguel Almiron, or, was that a little contentious to you? Like, what, let's answer that, and then let's kind of pull your biggest kind of, maybe gripes with what's happened in this article.
Sure. So in terms of the Miguel Almiron situation, so let's go back to 2018, right? Miguel Almiron missed final 2-3 matches of the regular season. And, so he was sat when he was injured. And as Felipe pointed out in the article, he was medically cleared to play. Now, also remember, Tata played Miguel in the first half in Yankee Stadium, that first playoff game, and then benched him for the second half. So it's not to say that I don't think that Tata was irresponsible in how he handled Miguel. I think that's something that we talked about at the time, that he actually played that pretty well. Especially getting the goal in the first half and then holding on the second half and so on. I think in that relationship, right, between the technical director and the manager, there has to be respect both ways. And I think the technical director has to respect the manager's lineup choices. If it's one thing where he's like kind of taking advantage of the player, then okay, fine. Like, obviously you step in, but that didn't appear to be the case with Tata and Miguel. So I think that's Tata had a right to be annoyed with Bocanegra for that request, especially given everything that had happened before, according to the article.
Mm-hmm. And before you get into your things that that stood out to you, I think it's that power struggle that was earlier alluded to. It's how Bocanegra, obviously this is his first gig as a technical director. Tata Martino has been around the block. Kind of the tension comes from him being more of, less experienced than Tata Martino. Yes. And Tata Martino wanted to kind of have a little bit more control of the signings and who was targeted to come in. Which one of those big ones was in terms of someone like him was a Marcelo Bielsa, who apparently was interviewed but was not called back. And Bielsa was quoted as to basically say, pretty much don't let them ever contact me again. I mean, and that's massive because Bielsa is one of the best coaches in the world and definitely in modern football. A lot of the the way that people like to play is patterned off of his style, and so many in his tree are off of him. And to be able to get the Godfather essentially of everybody like that, and he was intrigued and he was wanting to. He reached out to want this gig. I mean, God, that is probably one of the most damning things I think in this. What were yours?
So, all right, I'll touch on the Bielsa thing real quick. I understand like the hesitancy who wants total control, especially in a league where the rules are complicated and whatnot. But to not even have the respect to like thing, and that's a great example of how not to.
Wait, Mark, say that back because you cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I just think the way that situation was handled, specifically not calling Bielsa back, I just felt like that was amateurish. Like there's a way to go about these things, and that's not it. I mean, and the thing about Bielsa too is that he's influential. So if word gets out that basically Atlanta United pissed off Bielsa, felt like he wasted his time and whatnot, that's going to leave an impression on other people who like Bielsa, maybe are friends with Bielsa within the game of football. So, like we don't know what kind of harm that could have done the club. In terms of the relationship with Tata, like I understand that Bocanegra has responsibilities and duties as a technical director. I don't understand why he has to sit in on every video session and the practices, as the article detailed. That's just a classic example of micromanaging. And I don't know about you, I've dealt with managers who operate like that. They tend to be the worst, for lack of a better term. You have a guy like Tata, right? As you said, who've been around the block, very experienced, having to answer to this guy who is essentially just retired, right? Like, Bocanegra had no previous front office experience, and I think that needs to be emphasized. Because I see a lot of people, not a lot, but I see some people already defending Bocanegra, like, he's just made some mistakes. He'll learn. Listen, Atlanta United is not an internship opportunity, right? We want to be a big club. We want to be a force in global football. And actually, it seems like we've started to do that. But one of the key members of this front office apparently is not great at forming relationships or getting back to people. I mean, like, okay, after Tata left, we apparently Claudio Ranieri and Manuel Pellegrini were interested in the job. That's a big deal. The fact that they would, go out, let, I guess, the third party know that they would like to at least be interviewed for the job. And to get nothing back, that's so confusing. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, very perplexing omissions to not, and that's not just on Carlos Bocanegra. That's on Darren Eales and the rest of the front office as well. Sure, not give them the time of day to allow them to even, be part of the conversation. And also, I mean, let's be honest as well. There's a lack of diversity in the, kind of the interview candidates. The lack of, basically, yeah, you know what I'm saying. There are not anyone besides Argentine coaches / guys from Europe. There's a lot of I think demographics missing here that I think also should be addressed, especially going forward. There needs to be some transparency on, like, okay, afterwards, maybe some of the guys that we actually interviewed or something. I mean, I can see how that might be a little touchy, but there needs to be a little bit of I think placating a little bit of this, I think. But because if it continues in this kind of fashion where there's not showing any of that, I think we're going to have some problems, I feel like. But but anyway, yeah. Moving on into like some of the players that essentially were not, finessed in a sense by Carlos Bocanegra. Julian Gressel, kind of left in the dark, and then pretty much, he's pretty much saying he wants to sign, but obviously this gets into a deep rabbit hole about how much he could cost, his positional play in terms of where he actually fits in the team going forward. But I think there at least should have been some a little bit more of a better feeling probably than what maybe Gressel leaves with. LGP as well, kind of just shuttled out the door quickly. You have Darlington Nagbe, who sat out a preseason pretty much, and then was begrudgingly integrated back into the team essentially. And and then he leaves, whether it was because of family, which might have been a factor, but I think the larger factor was that I think there were rumors of this where he pretty much would have stayed if the contract was high enough. And I mean, that's obviously hearsay, but it's one of those like, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray area here in terms of all this.
Sure.
We want to be able to hear from Carlos Bocanegra at some point. Obviously, he's not going to probably anytime soon. There is, his contract does end in March 2022. Maybe if he is not kept on, then, maybe later down the line, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe he talks about this, because let's also be real, everyone who's part of LA United will eventually move on. It's not, and so these things will eventually come to light. I think, it's not going to be secrets for long, especially with something that is pretty spicy. I mean, but and so like there's a lot of other things to unpack. Was there another thing that's kind of stood out to you?
Oh, sure. I mean, like I think the common theme, of the lack of communication, like even if you didn't want to retain Gressel, you didn't think it was financially wise. I mean, you remember how upset Gressel was, and basically more or less taking to media and saying, "Hey, I want to sign." So, you just wonder how Bocanegra went about that process. The Darlington Nagbe thing is so confusing to me. You traded for him. You basically roll out the red carpet for him. I'm sure we all remember that video. It was a
plane
big
and
deal.
his mom and dad, or with his mom rather, but
yeah, and it was a big deal across the league. You knew what his contract was, and like you should have known the quality of player you were getting. As I said on Twitter yesterday, the best American midfielder in the league, bar none, in my opinion. So. And like you don't make it a priority to offer him a contract to get done. Like I can understand why Darlington would feel a type of way. And then you see how maybe he was seeing some other things in the organization and said, you know what, I'm gonna look to finish my career elsewhere. And then Columbus obviously became an option for multiple reasons. I think that one for me is the biggest axe to grind. Because I feel like even if all those other players have left, Tito, LGP, Gressel, if we had kept Darlington, last season wouldn't have been as big a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? Like it just
the connectivity between our lines, between our team, we had a massive hole in our midfield essentially, and I feel you absolutely, man.
It's just that inability to prioritize. I feel like I just don't. It really feels like somebody in their first gig. And something else I want to just point out about the article real quick. You mentioned his contract ending next year. Darren Eales did offer comments to the comment with his name, right? And I wouldn't exactly say he defended Bocanegra. I think he more just contextualized the situation. It's like, look, this is what it's like between a technical director and a manager sometimes, but it wasn't like an aggressive defensive Bocanegra like I expected. So, I don't know. At this point, like, my feeling right now is that Bocanegra will not renew his deal, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he announces a resignation or something like that this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know, like, because then you kind of get into, now this is out there. Now the fans know we're about to go to full capacity. What will be, will there be any type of response at the matches themselves? I don't know. It's all in play right now for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as so far as that he's gonna announce a resignation. I don't know if it's Boca out quite yet. I mean, obviously we have not replaced properly, really, some of the players that we have moved on, and that much is clear, and that's why there is the 2020 year that looked like the way it did, especially Frank de Boer as well. And that, which, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like Darren Eales, he mentioned that De Boer, he was hired because, the front office realized that Atlanta's opponents had changed their defensive tactics in order to kind of thwart Martino's aggressive style of play, which, okay, there is that. That's pretty damning on both of them, really, I think, a little bit too. Sure. That they... It's not essentially, that's not evolution. That's revolution. That's pretty much changing the exact way that you thought you wanted to play into a more pragmatic defensive style, and that explains why they brought in De Boer, and they acknowledge, I think previously that it is a massive mistake, and that's why they did bring in a Gabriel Heinze, but. Back to Bocanegra, though. I mean, I know a lot of fans might be saying Boca out, but I think currently we still are, integrating a new coach in. We'll see how their relationship is and how maybe this summer transfer window they can work together. And, of course, some of the guys that were brought in definitely was because of Heinze. But, I think there's going to be, I think the biggest evaluation period could be right after that transfer period is done, and see how we really integrate any of the new guys and see how we play. I don't see maybe something being done in the middle of this year, but maybe at the end of this year, definitely before the transfer window opens up in the winter. But because, I mean, with Paul McDonough coming back in, I mean, they have worked well together. I mean, that's clear. We have won trophies as Carlos Bocanegra as the technical director. Like, that should not be discounted. He definitely has brought success to Atlanta, and so, Atlanta fans will absolutely always be grateful. But it does seem like there is a little bit of undermining by, probably... on purpose or anything like that. It's not, it just seems like it's the way that his personality is and the way his work style is to, finesse these kind of negotiations sometimes. That's kind of part of the job, and it doesn't seem like, that's maybe his forte. And if it's not, maybe get a chief negotiator. Maybe get another person that's, negotiates with these players to kind of make this a little bit better of a situation going forward, because now this is all out in the open. Let's see how the club tries to rectify these known issues. And then if not, those Boca out, those other front office members might need to have some hashtag out attached to their name if results continue to dwindle. But so far, it's early returns. We're doing okay, so I don't think the Boca out really deserves much momentum at the moment. But that's me, that's you, and that's okay. If you wanna get on social media and start hashtagging Boca out, I'm not gonna stop you. It's on your own volition. But but anyway. Very, very very spicy article. Read it at The Athletic if you haven't. Well worth the subscription. But anyway, but moving on, I mean, yeah, Tanner wrote an article on Dirty South Soccer that in February 2020 that pretty much outlined a lot of this stuff in terms of, yeah, that FDB was not the only issue, that the front office should be in the firing line, and he got a bunch of shit for it. And, you know, I'm not so sure that, you know, people should have given him that much shit, because it's clear that if someone from the outside without inside sources is able to see this, which I think was a lot of fans as well, then, you know, it's something that needs to be, now that it's out in the open, fixed. Fix what the fans are crying out for, because at the end of the day, these clubs belong to the fans. So, anyway, let's move on to Lisandro Lopez. According to Cesar Luis Merlo, he is evaluating retirement. And, yeah, that's really sad to see, because the death of his father is probably no doubt hitting him hard at these times. And some of the outlets in Argentina are saying that he might retire because of this. And, yeah, it's, you know, I think we definitely wish him the best in any decision that he makes. And if he does decide to retire, it would be unfortunate, but, you know, it's completely understandable. But, yeah, you have any thoughts?
I wish him well either way. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what he's going through. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So, I'm just thinking about him and his family at this point, honestly.
Yeah, some things are bigger than soccer, and this is definitely much bigger than soccer. He needs all the time he needs to, figure what he wants to do. But, yeah. So moving on, Gabriel Heinze and Jim Curtin, we talked a little bit about their little squabble over, the press conferences in the past week. But, yeah, he apparently didn't know that Jim Curtin called him a sore loser and an asshole. And he said, quote, in a presser, "I'm a person, if I need to tell somebody, or I need to tell something to somebody, I do it face to face. I don't need a journalist to send a message to somebody. I've won and lost a lot. I think Curtin doesn't know me." Now, obviously, that's a little ironic because he's doing this in a press conference. But I think there were plenty of words said face to face, and for that to have been kind of, I think, exposed by Jim Curtin, yeah, it was fun to kind of see the back and forth of what they actually did say. But yeah, I think Heinze definitely kind of has a little drop the mic moment here, and basically, more or less calls him a bitch. But what do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's Heinze just kind of getting the last word on it. It's like you said, it's all fun. It's all fun to me. I did think it was cool that he actually congratulated him. And he also offered up a little bit of an apology in terms of not shaking his hand. So, a little bit of contrition from Heinze, which I think is good to see. But, I'm all for MLS coaches sniping at each other, though. More of it.
Yeah, it definitely brings some more storylines to the league and more entertainment, I suppose. But yes, moving on from that, Santiago Sosa made the Champions League Team of the Week. That was definitely well deserved. I mean, he was he scored a goal. He was the rock in the middle. I mean, he's the man when he is not super tired and has heavy legs, and that's apparent. But when you start 8 matches in a row, like anyone is going to start to suffer a little bit physically. But
especially with midweek matches,
yeah. But moving on from that, Miles Robinson, he made the U.S. men's national team preliminary roster for the CONCACAF Nations League semifinals. And, all we could say to that is obviously don't have him run wind sprints, and it will be good. But I'm
actually cool with this, everyone was all, he didn't play for U23s. That's gonna block his career. No, it's not. Obviously not. Like, if he's good enough to play for the national team, he will get called up, and I hope he does play a little bit.
Yeah, not every single match, but yeah, a little bit. But
Right.
and hopefully shows out and yeah, ups his transfer value. Exactly, all that. But anyway, Josef Martinez, he talked about finding meaning when not playing. And I thought this quote was, boy, like, perspective is super important. And yeah, he said, quote, "When you don't play, you're not a soccer player anymore. When you're a soccer player, you have everything in your hands. But when you're not playing, you're not scoring goals, you're not playing games, you're not on TV, you just become a normal person. I think sometimes people forget about that." And that was in an article by ESPN. And yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that time off, he was getting really maybe existential a little bit, and that's good to see. I think it's Josef Martinez. I think obviously he came back hungrier than ever. He also said after the goal that he has been dreaming of this moment, since he got injured, and so this is one of those things. He's not going to lose the perspective of, being a very, very hungry striker, but he also has gained some, I think, life experience here that, I think will suit him and the team really well going forward. But, speaking of Josef Martinez, again, he influences everything. That's obvious. Toronto's new DP, Jefferson Soteldo, he said, quote, "I wanted to come to MLS to make history. Josef is like my brother. I've seen the success he's had. I want that in Toronto." That's hat tip to Tom Bogert there. There's even some photos of Soteldo also playing for the Venezuelan national team and his previous team, and him doing the kneel just like Josef. I mean, it's it's definitely one of those things where he is a massive influence on very much. But
I am low-key jealous of Toronto in this case.
I know, yeah. Even though, Soteldo, I think he's even shorter than the ant. It's insane. Like, they somehow, they keep getting shorter and shorter. But I think this is a very good player that they've gotten, and I think definitely help them a lot. But anyway, moving on from that, Miguel Miron and his wife filmed a commercial for Tokyo PY, a dryer company, and it's a very, very adorable commercial, and it's shows Miggy doing his thing, and it's just kind of in my opinion, Miggy deserves all of the sponsorships, so give him more. They did a great job, I think, doing this, and it was a lot of fun to watch, really. But anyway, you have any thoughts on that before we wrap up the news?
I actually did not get a chance to see the commercial, so I don't have any thoughts. But give Miggy all the endorsements.
Indeed. All right. Well, anyway, moving on to the match preview, and we will be playing CF Montreal this Saturday at the Benz at 7 p.m. And basically, CF Montreal, they used to be the Montreal Impact, if you weren't paying attention in the off season. Now they have changed it into Club de Foot de Montreal, and that was my best, I guess. Is that French?
French accent.
Yeah, a little French. Look, it's Club de Foot de Montreal, but anyway.
Oh gosh.
That's my French. But anyway, Thierry Henry, he only lasted a season as their head coach, and he has departed. And so Montreal not only get a new head coach, but a whole new rebrand. And Wilfred Nancy is now their head coach. But last season they placed 9th in the Eastern Conference. They made the playoffs, but were eliminated by the Revolution. And they made the CONCACAF Champions League, but were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Olympia. And it's so they've had a decent season last season in 2020. They definitely have made a lot of reinforcements as well. Jordi Mihailovic, coming from the Chicago Fire, has come in. He's kind of their number 10, kind of their left winger, and so he will be someone that can bring some flexibility to their squad. Bjorn Johnson, a striker, has come in 6'5", definitely will be a big presence in the middle up top for them, and it's gonna be a handful for our center backs for sure. And Kiki Struna, he's a center back that's they acquired through Houston Dynamo, but they of course as well have lost some players, and Bojan, who that former Barcelona wonder kid, he left during the off season. Kind of a little bit of an underwhelming spell there in Montreal, but it is what that is. Orji Akwankwo, another guy that's named their 2019 team MVP, but now he's on loan. And now he's on loan to Bologna, he's on loan to Regina in Italy's Serie B, and and also Juka Ratala, the previous club captain, and their kind of stalwart in defense. He was out of contract, and they didn't opt to sign him. So, and the aforementioned Thierry Henry, who, selfishly, I would have loved to see him still coaching here, because also, them playing at the Benz finally, Thierry Henry is my all-time favorite player, and I would have loved to see a glimpse of him in person at the Benz, but no such luck. That is not going to be the case, and I shed a tear, because it's quite sad. But anyway, into the series matchup between the two clubs. We have 4 wins. They have 1 win, and there's been 1 draw in the 6 matches between us. 12 goals for us, 6 goals for them. And our last match against them was in 2019 of September, and that was a 1-1 draw. So definitely, it's been a minute since we played Montreal for sure. But getting into their current form, Montreal, they had an undefeated start to their campaign until they played their fellow Canadian team in the Whitecaps. And they lost 2-0 there. And they will be playing on Wednesday, full transparency, the day we're filming this. And so that they will be playing Inter Miami, so we will not have the result of that. But that does mean they play midweek, and so that might bode well when we face them on Saturday, because they might have a little bit of tired legs. Might be a little bit of a good thing for sure, but... let's get into their players to watch then, Mark. Let's take that away.
Yeah, so at 4, they have Romel Kyoto. He had a very good season last season. He was their leading scorer. He's played in the wing before, but he was kind of a revelation at center forward. He had 8 goals, 6 assists. Kind of reminds you of Josef a little bit, who also started off as a winger. Of course, talked about their big acquisition, Georgi Mihailovic from Chicago. I was actually surprised to see that trade, but yes, he's in Montreal now. And he's going to be a key presence for them in the middle. He's creative, sort of a number 10, but they'll certainly be leaning on him to fashion chances and maybe even score himself. And of course, we have Victor Wanyama, who spent a lot of time in Europe, most notably Tottenham, your old pals. And but he's a defensive presence. He's a rock. He has a decent passing range, and so you kind of figure with those players, Montreal has a strong spine, and so they'll be kind of tough to beat in that regard.
Yeah, and also so getting into our key guys and danger men, who are they?
Yeah, so Josef, of course, he gets on the score sheet, and as I mentioned before, he's got the week off. So you'd figure he starts, and hopefully he can give us a good 60, 70 minutes. Hopefully he can score, maybe a couple goals. Santiago Sosa, it wouldn't be an LA United lineup without Santiago Sosa at this point. At least he gets the full week off, but yeah, certainly expect him to start, and the presence in the middle. He's going to drop between center backs. He's going to We know about his passing range and all that. And Marcelino Moreno, he's a key player. I think the returns on him so far this season have been a little disappointing. As we mentioned before in previous episodes, he's been moved around a little bit as well. But I think certainly if the team want some success and I think some consistency in results, we need other players to step up besides Josef and Sosa. And Marcelino Moreno would certainly, I think, be one of those players that we need to lean on a little bit. So hopefully he can make a contribution this weekend, assuming that he starts.
Right. And so, getting into the injuries and availability. So Montreal have 4 players out: Louis Binks, Mason Toye, Balu Tabla, and Zachary Brault-Guillard. And for us, even longer list than they do. But Barco and Dom with hamstrings, Mochop Chol with lower body injury. He might be a little bit maybe moved up to questionable, as his time frame, I think, is getting into this time frame, but where he might be available. But Mo Adams still out with that after hernia surgery. Alacan, shoulder injury, and then Mateus Hosetu probably being integrated into the team, probably more playing with the twos until he can get that match fitness. And then, of course, Licha Lopez for personal reasons. But, getting into the strengths and weaknesses of Montreal, basically they have a lot of experience in the middle and in defense. But it's probably where they're a little bit very dependent probably on maybe Wanyama. And maybe he's, as maybe their best player, that there's not a lot that they, I think all in all still can, I think, hang their hat on as this is the way we're going to play. And, so they might be a team that, still might try to, possess the ball, but are they going to be kind of incisive and, clinical in front of goal? We'll see. So far, it hasn't exactly been that case for them, much like us a little bit. So they'll have some kind of similar styles in that, basically we'll be playing through the middle a lot. And so, and in terms of maybe trying to feed in the service from the wings, we'll see, who and which team is going to, maybe change it up and, attack in different areas, in different spaces, to exploit the weaknesses of the other team. But that gets us to our predicted starting 11, and so let's get through them together. Go ahead, Marc.
Yep. So of course, between the sticks we have Guzan. I expect a back 4 of Lennon, Robinson, Alan Franco, I think, comes in for this one, and George Bello.
Okay, yeah. For me, I think Ronald Hernandez or maybe Jack Gurr can, maybe get a run out here. No idea why Ronald Hernandez is not favored, but hopefully he does get a run out here because it seems like, he is just down in the depth chart. But I think this would be a perfect match for him to maybe get a start. But if not, Lennon, of course, would be that incumbent. Robinson, Walks, and Bello, I think, you keep that kind of continuity going. Franco, he's going to have to work his way back into the team, it seems. But, Alex DeJohn, I'm not so sure that he should see some time anytime soon after that really, really poor free kick. But anyway, go ahead.
In the midfield, again, in midfield 3, of course, Sosa in the middle, our rock. And flanking him, I have Ibarra and Hyman. Ibarra doing box-to-box job, Hyman being sort of the tip of the diamond. Hopefully that can, fashion some chances for us. Yeah.
I have a little bit more attacking than you do, and I understand why you put Hyman there because, yes, it's a little tease to what your forward line might look like, but I think, Hyman, Sosa, Moreno, same as last match a little bit, that, it just brings a little bit more of an attacking impetus, and Moreno just, he needs to show kind of why he was a DP and why he was brought in as such. But, getting into that forward line then.
Yeah, so for my forward line, I have Moreno starting on the right. Obviously, we're dealing with some injuries with that. Most notably Jurgen Damm. I think Moreni probably should come off the bench for this one. Josef, of course, in the middle, and I have Eric Lopez again starting on the left. He's trying to work his way, I think, into into form as well. Hopefully we can see some of that this weekend.
Yeah, I also have Eric Lopez as well as Joseph, but I have Brooks Lennon as our right winger, and for me, I think he can bring that varied service, and he's been trying to build that rapport with Josef Martinez. I think what better way than to just kind of take that handbrake off of him and just have him play as a winger, and we'll. He's been very, very solid as he has been last season as well, and the service that he brings, and so hopefully, not just pullbacks, not just early crosses, just really bring the dynamic service, and hopefully that would kind of unlock their defense a lot quicker than we have had in the past. 3 matches before Joseph scored, but. That gets us perfectly into what we would like to see the team do in this match. And yes, if Joseph gets a chance, hopefully he puts it away like he, is apt to do. But we also need to watch out for those shots from distance from Montreal. That's they are also apt to do. That Brad Guzan, I feel like, definitely has that a little bit of a weakness in his game. But also attack them one-on-one and try to beat them on the dribble is definitely a tactic that has been effective against them, and so let's definitely try to get our guys that can dribble against them on the ball, like Moreno, like an Eric Lopez. But what about you? What's your what would you like to see the team do?
To add to this, I think being clinical is the biggest thing for sure. I would also like to see the ball movement just be a little quicker. I think we should be putting Montreal under pressure in this match. We're at home. Montreal's coming off a midweek game. We're coming off a full week's rest. So I would like to see energy from beginning to end. Really put the pressure on Montreal, and like a couple goals before halftime. I think that's what we need.
Okay, all right. That would be lovely. But yes,
Yeah.
So let's get into the odds then. According to Bet365, it's a 58.1% chance for Atlanta United to win. We are at home after all. Draw is at 25%, and for Montreal, it's 23.8% chance to win. And a quick note is that Montreal have conceded at least 2 goals in their last 3 away matches in MLS. So that also bodes well. So getting into that score prediction then, what do you got?
So I forget the couple goals before halftime. I'd like to see it, but I think that we will prevail in this. I have 2-1 for the score, so maybe a little bit of a struggle, but I think that this is one where we should be coming away with 3 points for sure. Yeah,
and I agree. Yeah, it's a 2-1 scoreline for me as well. I think we'll get a goal in each half, and it won't maybe be as squeaky bum time. Maybe it's 1-1 at the half or something, and then we have a better showing in the second half. As Gabriel Heinze has noted that there was a drop-off in levels. Maybe there is a more of an onus for them to show that they can play good football for 2 halves, collectively and consecutively. And that would be wonderful to see. 3 points on the board for Atlanta United, and hopefully it's a happy weekend for all 17s. But anyway, that does it for the match preview and gets us into the question of the day. And the question of the day is, can the attack thrive without Ezequiel Barco and Jurgen Damm to help create? So far, we have not really been gangbusters in front of goal without them two. So can we do it? We don't know how long we'll be out without them for a while. So we obviously think that at least we can get 2 goals. So hopefully we do get that from the run of play to get that confidence. But let us know in the comments below. But guys, that is the show. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.